Encouraging Customer Feedback by Diane, Giselle, Tyler, Regina, and Darlene. Group 6, Man 4162. Customer feedback. I'm going to talk about the value of it. That's Giselle. Darlene's going to talk about the method of collecting. Regina's going to talk about the type of incentives. Tyler's going to talk about what not to do. And Diane's going to talk about what you should do. The value of customer feedback. Benefits of customer feedback help connect a company with the consumer's wants and needs. Companies need consumer feedback data to help serve customers' wants and needs. Without this data, a company becomes disconnected from their consumer base and will fall behind the competition in providing new products, services, and technology. All business fields need customer feedback. The benefits of customer feedback is of such great value, firms have generated its own industry. There are 5 reasons customer feedback is valuable to companies. These are significance. Feedback helps companies determine the need and taste customers have towards products and services businesses are offering. Companies can use this data to create focus groups to determine features, flavors, or styles consumers want in products. Lacking customer feedback, companies will not be able to fill demand or know if a product will likely fail in the marketplace. Identification. Companies use customer feedback on ratings and use of their products versus the competitive products. In this way, customers can find out if products or services surpass or fail or fall short compared to the competition. Function. Customer feedback can evaluate how employees treat customers and identify areas in need of change or training. Customers' service satisfaction surveys are valuable in determining customer-employee interaction. Lessons learned. This helps to note reasons why a company has lost customers or why a product is no longer being purchased. Reasons could be from outdated goods, pricing structure, failure of the product, and services no longer applicable. Companies can learn what changes are needed to products and services. Market trends. Technology is always changing, and customer feedback helps companies set new trends in the market. In this way, companies can provide new and improved products or services in advance of the competition. Customer feedback can also tell a company when a trend has changed and the company needs to discontinue or offer new options to the consumer. Feedback is valuable to companies and customers because it reinforces connection with customers, understands what motivates buyers, customers feel value and acknowledged, used for company improvements, customers' loyalty strengthens and referrals increase, creates customer-focused culture, influence prospects for buyers and partners. Customer feedback is also valuable to companies in order to develop marketing strategies and plans based on fact, identify training needs, prevent lost sales, increase management employee membership engagement, reinforce and reward good employee behavior, improve business processes, identify what's working well and what needs to improve, and measure the impact of business improvements, decisions, and investments. Customer feedback helps businesses know performance levels and how to meet customer needs and desires. Meeting consumer needs, they can test the market and keep up with future market trends. For customers, feedback helps to direct companies in improving the needed goods and services. It also allows customers to know their likes or dislikes are important. In turn, this will promote more customer feedback companies need for development in the growing market. Darlene.
Methods for collecting customer feedback. Methods for collecting customer feedback. Okay, so before you start to collect customer feedback, you need to have a feedback process. The first point would be, what are your objectives? That is, what feedback are you trying to obtain and why? When should you gather the feedback? And then my point is, how will you gather the feedback? And then who should participate in the feedback gathering? And what will you do with the information once it is gathered? So methods for gathering customer feedback are as follows. Surveys. When taking a survey, it is important to ask the right questions. You need to know what your objective is so that you ask the correct questions in order to gain the appropriate feedback. Another method of collecting, gathering feedback is to have interviews. A third method is focus groups, and this is an idea of what the group, this gives you an idea of what the group thinks overall about a certain topic or product. Customer comment cards are a nice way to recognize an employee's efforts and also to gain feedback and insight from customers that frequent the store who may not use the internet or who just like that old school type of comment card. Telephone calls are another way to gather customer feedback, to ask questions about the customer's experience at your store. Good for that. And then keys to successful feedback are to attain clarity of the objective being pursued, that is to know what you're trying to accomplish. So again, ask the appropriate questions so that you get appropriate answers so that you're promoting your cause. Request feedback that is relevant to the customer. Do not inconvenience your customers. So don't make your customers fill out a 10-page survey because they're not going to appreciate that. Separate customer feedback from noise to ensure analysis is meaningful. So, make sure it's not just a customer venting. And if they are venting, of course, they may have an issue with something, and you do want to take that seriously, but you want to make sure the analysis is meaningful. And then lastly, always respond to customer feedback. If you gather the information and take the time and effort and spend the money to gather the feedback, you then want to follow up on it. Follow up and make sure the customer feels, that they've been acknowledged and that they're appreciated. And then also to use the feedback for whatever purpose you may have gathered it for.
Regina, it's your turn.
Alrighty, I am covering the customer feedback incentives. And there we go. Okay. Need for feedback is because one touch point is never enough to gauge your customer service performance. Just because the customer might be angry at that time, over their long period of time, their whole experience is what will tell them whether or not they have a good experience or a bad experience, not just that one flashpoint moment. And listening and responding to these many feedbacks will help build rapport and gain trust with your customers. The role of these incentives is to encourage the response, to investigate new markets if you are getting ready to expand into a new area, and to also to entice new demographics. Say if your core audience is 20 to 40-year-olds, you want to start enticing 50 to 60-year-olds. Surveys will, and other feedback will help you do that. Types of the incentives are the prepaid monetary, the non-monetary, the promised, and the guaranteed. And the effectiveness of feedback incentives are to identify the issues that really do need fixing. And in order to do that, prepaid is the most useful for that one, unless it is tied to actual customer satisfaction, and then it doesn't matter if you pay them or not. If they don't like you, they don't like you. The non-monetary incentives will get you the least results. And if the incentive is guaranteed, whether it is monetary, non-monetary, piece of candy, it will garner the most responses available.
Tyler.
Alrighty. Well, with customer feedback, my section is what not to do. So we'll just be saying what not to do, what as far as with surveys, what you don't want to do, and things you don't want to do is you don't want to make the reviews difficult to find. This being so, the customer, if they are having a hard time trying to find the reviews and they want to post their own, or if they want to look at them, then it'll they just won't. They'll just get more frustrated, and it won't be. They'll just have all kinds of trouble. It's just not going to be that good of a process if they can't find what they're looking for. So they're just going to get a little more agitated. And if a customer wants to make their own, it should just be a painless, simple thing. It doesn't need to be anything complicated. It's just a simple text box with either some kind of star rating, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars, and it just needs to be where they just post it and they just submit it, and they need to just simply be able to read other people's, because customer reviews is what helps the business to identify what their flaws are and what they're good at, so they know what they need to keep doing, what they need to improve on, or what they need to fix in general. Another thing you don't want to do is remove negative ones, because some people specifically look for negative ones. So if they're looking, they want to see if a certain product or service is not doing so well in a certain area, then they want to know exactly what's going on with it. And if you remove it, then it'll almost look like the business is kind of hiding stuff and lying. So you need to. All those negative reviews are just as helpful to the customer as they are to the business. So if they were to get this product or get this service and it's poor, and if it's not as everything that it was made up to be, because all the negative reviews have been taken off and the only thing on there is good reviews, then it's almost like it's just like the company is lying and they might not trust them anymore. So the customer might be upset about it because they didn't get what they wanted. Another thing is long surveys. I know I've had to take a couple of these in school, at work, just everywhere, and long surveys are they are the worst things, because personally I don't like taking surveys already. So if it's already this long, tons of questions and 10, 20-minute things, it's just not. It's not fun at all, and you get to a point where the customer just doesn't want to even take it anymore. So it needs to be short, it needs to be simple, because if it's not, then they're just going to rush through it. They want to get through it really quickly, and you'll get all kinds of inaccurate results, because it won't be what they were really thinking at first. They'll just want to get through it just so they can submit it. Another thing is unnecessary questions, because it is a waste of time. If somebody, like during the survey, if there are questions that do not pertain to the customer's specific needs or concerns, then it's really no help. It wastes time, it wastes all kinds of effort on the customer's part and the business's part. And to keep everything accurate and short and simple, unnecessary questions just don't need to be involved, because of the whole reasoning behind not having long and time-consuming surveys. Is the whole point of the surveys and reviews and everything are to keep everything accurate. So you don't want all these unnecessary things. Again, hard to use surveys if they can't, like with reviews, if they can't find the review. The surveys hard to use. They're going to be more agitated if they already were in the first place. They don't want to handle all of the extra tasks, extra questions, and extra things that you might want to be asking them as the company. What they want to do is they just want to provide their information, and it needs to be to their specific needs. So if they are being asked to rate stuff that doesn't pertain to anything that they're concerned about, then it's again going to agitate them, and they are just going to provide inaccurate results because they want to hurry up and get it over with. You want to gain the customer's trust, because again, you don't want it to seem like you're lying, and as the company, that's not a very good thing, because we've learned that it's hard to regain customers' trust, because once it's lost, it's a process to get it back. So you want to help them whenever they need it, because in turn they will provide honest feedback, whether it's negative or positive. Either way is helpful to the company. So first things first is you have to gain their trust. You have to show them that you are willing to help them, and you're willing to take their information and put it to good use. So whenever they provide good feedback and it's actually implemented, then they feel like they're making a difference in the company. So it's like they're part of the company. So it'll make them want to come back to the business, and it'll help build revenue and all kinds of stuff.
Thank you. Diane.
What you should do with customer feedback, Diane Carlisle. You spent the time and money to collect it, now do something with it. First, you must evaluate the feedback you received to determine its validity and what makes sense to change. If the feedback was negative, turn it into a positive. If necessary, fix what's broken, change what you must, learn from your mistake, and improve your future performance. Positive feedback should be used for reinforcement of good practices and as a training tool. When feedback is positive, continue the positive performance, but always strive to improve. The responsibility for customer feedback extends beyond the marketing department. It's a theology and practice, from the executive suite to the sales force and everyone in between. Accordingly, ensure that everyone in the company knows what customers are thinking by sharing customer feedback. Product and service decisions will be better informed as a result, and the employees will be inspired to take ownership of their customer service performance. Use feedback to make changes quickly. You can't move a mountain in a day, but you can make it easier to climb by clearing a path. Customers who evangelize their friends and colleagues love a responsible organization, especially ones that keep them in the loop of how their feedback was used or wasn't. Remember how important word-of-mouth advertising really is. When you receive customer feedback, evaluate its applicability, make adaptations and processes to better accommodate customers' needs, and change what is not working. Take action. In our competitive world, keeping customers happy and coming back is of supreme importance. Customer feedback provides the cheat sheets needed to accomplish that goal. If your feedback is positive, good for you. Carry on, perfecting what you can and continually reevaluate to make sure the working processes are still working.
I'd like to thank everybody in Group 6. We did a nice job. It was fun working with all you guys. And I'd like to thank Diane and Tyler and Regina and Darlene.